Hello, and welcome to another Lincoln property blog, brought to you by Ben from Walters of Lincolnshire. This week we look at should Lincoln homeowners extend or move? You want more space? The kitchen bleeds into homework time. The spare room became an office, then a dumping ground. The obvious answer used to be to extend. Yet over the last few years, the sums have changed. This is an article for Lincoln homeowners who are weighing up an extension against moving. It gives you the maths, the practical snags, and a simple checklist so you can make a confident decision for your family. Here are the simple maths of extending your Lincoln home in 2025. Think of an extension as two numbers fighting each other. First, what it adds to value. Roughly added value equals new floor area multiplied by what buyers pay per square foot in your street and your price band. So added value equals new area times local pounds per square foot. Secondly, what it really costs, not just the bricks and labour. Add professional fees, approvals, VAT, a sensible contingency, and the life disruption that no one prices in at the start. All-in cost per square foot equals build cost per square foot times VAT times fees times contingency. So let's look at the average value achieved. 3,240 houses have sold in the last 12 months in Lincoln. The average pound per square foot has been £240. Next, we must look at the costs. Use this as a starting point for most single-storey projects in 2025. Build cost per square foot are as follows. At the budget end, these are around £167 per square foot, all the way up to £325 per square foot for a top-of-the-range build and finish. VAT is 20% on extensions, so that must be added to the above figure. Professional fees and approvals are on top and are between 10 to 15% of the build cost. Contingency, money if things go wrong, at least 10%, ideally 12.5%. So if we look at a mid-level Lincoln property, the all-in cost per square foot looks like this. Mid-level range build at £243 per square foot. With VAT, that increases to £291 per square foot. Add 15% for professional fees, now it's £334 per square foot. And finally adding 10% for contingencies, that leaves about £367 per square foot. All in. That number matters. It is the break-even point for your home extension. However, two-storey projects can offer better value because foundations and roofs are shared. A rough rule that many use is that extra storey costs are about 30% to 50% cheaper per square foot for the first floor. Let me look at some worked examples. A single-storey 200 square feet worked example. New area, 200 square feet. Cost per square foot. £367. Total project outlay for a single-storey Lincoln dwelling equals £73,400. Total value added, 200 square feet, at the average £240 per square foot, equals £48,000. Now let's look at a double-storey 400 square feet worked example. New area, 400 square feet. Cost per square foot. The ground floor 200 square feet at £367 and the first floor 200 square feet at £256. Total project outlay about £124,600. Total value added, 400 square feet at the average £240 per square foot, equals £96,000. You can see the gap. Lincoln is not one market. The old part, the interwar semis, new build estates, village edges, each has a different pound per square foot. Yet, it is not all about the pure pound notes when deciding to extend or not. Let me expand on those. The benefits of extending in Lincoln. You stay rooted in your locality. Many Lincoln primary schools' catchment areas make it difficult to get your child into. One also has to consider the commute, one's neighbours and social clubs. Moving swaps certainty for a new set of unknowns. Extending preserves the life you have built. Tailored space that fits how you live. An extending dining kitchen that actually works is something to behold. It will become your new 80% room, the room you spend 80% of your time in. You could have a utility, to swallow muddy boots and mucky pups. A snug, where the telly does not glare across the whole house. A master bedroom with your own ensuite and walk-in wardrobe. Off-the-peg houses rarely give you that. What about the two-storey efficiency? If your plot and design allow, as explained earlier in the article, stacking rooms will drive down the cost per square foot compared with a single-storey add-on. Energy performance upgrades, new fabric, better glazing, airtightness, and modern services. Done well, the old house can piggyback on the latest performance and lower running costs. The right glazing and shading can also lift light levels throughout the whole ground floor. You avoid the moving friction of stamp duty, legal fees, survey, removals, estate agent fees, mortgage fees, time off work, and the risk of a chain falling through. That is cash and stress you do not spend if you stay put. Planning can be simpler than you think. Most modest extension schemes fall under permitted development if they meet the detailed rules. A formal certificate gives comfort. You still comply with building regulations, and you still want proper drawings and engineering, but the route can be cleaner than a full planning application in the right cases. What about the downside of extending in Lincoln? As we regularly see on grand designs, the total build number is bigger than most expect. Build price is the headline. Then you add VAT, design, engineering, approvals, party wall, building control, site setup, scaffolding, insurances, temporary kitchen or bathroom workarounds, reinstatement and landscaping. Set a contingency and resist the urge to spend it on nicer taps in month 1. Small extensions carry considerable fixed costs. Party wall agreements, architect design costs, planning approvals, and setup do not shrink much with a tiny footprint. A small add-on can have a high cost per square foot because those fixed items are spread over less space. You cannot always bank the uplift. Value is not purely area times pounds per square foot. Overdeveloping can push your home past the local ceiling. Flow matters. Natural light matters. If the new layout steals daylight or creates a long, dark corridor to a back room, buyers will mark it down. Design quality is not a luxury. It is the lever that turns floor space into pounds. Don't forget about time and disruption. A straight-run single-storey can be 3 to 4 months on site. Many can take longer once you add the pre-build design, approvals, and the hassle of getting a quote from a tradesperson, let alone nailing them down to a fixed time to do the work. Dust, noise, trades on your drive, and the on-site decision-making make extending a disturbance. It affects work and family life. What about potential planning uncertainty? Most schemes do get consent with the right design and process. Some do not. Conservation area, outlook, the development height, trees, drainage, parking, each can bite. Early advice reduces risk, but you still need a plan B. Then there is the cash cost versus finance cost. If you draw down savings or extend your mortgage, include the cost of money over the time you will live there. That is part of the actual price of an extension. VAT fairness. Extensions carry 20% VAT in most cases. New build is 0 rated. It feels unfair. So when does moving home in Lincoln beat extending? Moving makes sense when 3 things line up. 1. Your pound per square foot sits far below your all-in cost per square foot. If the pound per square foot for your area of Lincoln is at, say, £187 per square foot, and your all-in build sits around £367 per square foot, the numbers tell you to move. It is hard to turn a profit on an area alone. 2. There are Lincoln homes that already do what you want. If you can buy a 4-bed with the proper layout and a decent kitchen diner in a street you like, you avoid the build risk and the family upheaval. Pay stamp duty, yes, but you get certainty. 3. Your life horizon is shorter. If you plan to move again in 5 years, a big project is risky. You have less time to enjoy it and less time for the market to forgive overspending. If you plan to stay a decade or more, quality of life often outweighs a thin cash return. Here is my 4-step decision checklist for Lincoln homeowners. Step 1. Get your street-level pound per square foot. Ask a switched-on local estate agent, like ourselves, to evidence what similar homes have sold for in the last year. Not asking prices. Completions. Divide the price by the internal floor area to get a realistic pound per square foot for your band. Use several comparables, then pick a careful average. Step 2. Price the whole project, not just the build. Ask 2 or 3 independent builders for outline figures with a clear scope. Add design, structural, surveys, approvals, building control, party wall, utilities, kitchen and bathroom fit, flooring, decoration, external works, VAT plus at least a 10% contingency. Step 3. Run the break-even. All-in cost per square foot versus your local recent completions pounds per square foot. If the gap is wide, pause. If it is close, look at 2-story options or more innovative plans that deliver more useful rooms for the same footprint. If it's a loss, but it gives you the home you want, especially taking into account the point made in step 4 below, then the loss is only an issue if you sell. Step 4. Sense check with your future self. How long will you stay? What do the next 10 years look like? Grandparents, teenagers, pets, or working patterns? The correct answer is the one that makes daily life better for the people who will actually live there, not the one that wins an argument on a spreadsheet. So, how to get the best result if you do extend? Start with a plan, not a room count. Map the day. Where do you drop bags? Where do coats live? Where does the dog dry off? Plan the flow of your home before digging any foundations. Steel light, not just feet. Roof lights, a slim frame slider, borrowed light from the hall. A bright 200 square foot room feels bigger than a gloomy 270 square foot one. Design for furniture. A 6-seater table needs space to pull chairs. Islands need clear walk routes. Put sockets where you will make tea, not where the drawings happen to land them. Phase non-essentials. If the budget is tight, prioritise structure and services. You can upgrade the worktops later. Lock down the plan. Changes on site are where budgets go to die. Choose your team for trust and process, not just price. References, insurance, a clear programme, and a builder who will walk you through how decisions get made. The bottom line for Lincoln homeowners, there is no one answer. In parts of Lincoln where buyers pay £300 per square foot for great space, a carefully designed extension can be a smart move, especially over 2 stories. In areas of Lincoln where the going rate is closer to £150 per square foot, the math says, move unless quality of life is the main aim and you plan to stay long enough to enjoy it. I hope you found this blog informative and interesting. For more insights and information, visit the Lincoln Property blog brought to you by Ben from Walters of Lincolnshire at www.walters-property.com/blogs. Until next time, take care. If you would like a chat about where you sit in the current market, do not hesitate to give me a call on 01522 512 513 or drop me a message on social media. To ensure all our clients get the absolute best experience and a total marketing strategy as unique as their homes, we only list 20 properties per month. Our September and October market appraisal slots are now available to book. We ensure that you are always a name and not just a number with Walters.